I guess what I was gonna say, if I was being completely unapologetically honest, is that I guess I'm just disappointed in people's interests. And I was thinking how it's like, Marcus, people aren't receptive to what they're receptive to until they decide to be. Like, you can't decide that for them. People didn't really care about health that much en masse until recent years. And there's just other examples of people not accepting or acknowledging or recognizing the benefits and certain thought processes and certain perspectives until later on. And I just see what people like, what they're attracted to, and it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind to be so infatuated with what seems to me to be so stale. And I know my standards aren't everybody else's standards. But just like, I guess it interests me that people aren't concerned with stabilizing themselves, or living a non-chaotic life, living a more harmonious life, having a more harmonious world. And I suppose a big part of it too is just, I am so incompatible with this world. What's on display anyway. It's not that there's not people like me. It's not that there's not people that I mesh with very well. It's not like that. It's not that there's not people who hold my beliefs and have the same kind of appetites I have for a greater kind of humanity. People seem to be so complacent with, people buy into just all the shallow shit. It's so shallow. The shallow feeds you, but the shallow is just so unsatisfying. It's just like sugar. You only want more and more and more, and you'll never get enough of it. And as we see with the obesity rates in this country, clearly people don't mind gluttonizing, getting more and more and more, even if it's hurting them. Because as I just posted, we're deaf to, there's nothing, clearly I have to qualify everything I say. I'm not throwing shots at anybody who has actual deafness. I felt self-conscious about even using that word. Fearful that it may have been demeaning those who are actually deaf. But the kind of deafness I'm talking about is a conscious choice. So many of us are consciously, mindfully choosing to be deaf towards what our souls are yearning for, which I think is just a kind of wholesomeness in a stability and an actuality. People are just indifferent to the fakeness because they're indifferent to the fakeness within themselves as well. They're indifferent to the fakeness within their own hearts and minds and bodies and souls. And so why would they not be critical or allergic to the fakeness of others? We're so super hypersexualized too. Good God. That's coming from a motherfucker like me. I have a healthy sexual appetite, but everything I see is super sexed up. Like, even, I'm sure it's presumed that me being shirtless is, I'm trying to emanate some kind of sexual charge. Even if one doesn't gain that from it, I'm sure people look at it and they're like, shirtless. What does he think? Who does he think he is? I know people think that way. Somebody actually fucking told me that. It's like, look, man, I'm shirtless because I think it's way more interesting to see the way that my body. It'd be so lame with my shirt. You see no movement. You would see no detail. I don't respect or admire, nor am I attracted to the lifestyle, the mindset of anybody, generically speaking. It sucks though, because I feel I don't feel lonely at all, which is cool and interesting. But what sucks is that I guess I've always wanted people to be good, to be well off internally. I think I mentioned this maybe once, but like it's maybe like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I don't know how long ago this has been now. But one of the reasons why I stopped online gaming, I really truly, what started affecting me as I began to evolve mentally speaking and spiritually, what began to fuck me up was how needlessly negative everybody was. It was this habit, this diarrhea of negativity. And it's not about being a wimp. My feelings weren't being hurt. It was just like, why? It was just why. My brain, I guess the problem is that I can't help but be receptive to the good and the bad. Since I was a child. I know I'm talking about since I was a child, but it's so interesting how so many of my qualities and traits that I sometimes I feel like I've just now gained. I've had them always, but I've only sharpened them. I've only exercised them. I've only refined them and matured with them. But I've always been highly receptive to the negative and the positive, to everything. My brain, it's not even me. My brain gives me no choice but to hear in your voice your hostility, your impatience, your antagonism, your aggressiveness. It picks up on it and it says, peace out. It says, Marcus, get the fuck. It says, Marcus, this is stupid. And I hold myself to that same standard. I am highly aggravated at myself when I allow my poor moods to affect other people. When I allow my fatigue or my hunger or my just generic instability for whatever reason due to stress, when I allow that to hurt the people around me, when I allow that to inform my behavior to where I'm an asshole with people, I hate myself. I hold myself to the same standard that I hold other people to. To be honest, I hold myself to a higher standard. Why? Because I believe there's something intrinsically beneficial to being loving and wholesome towards each other. Clearly. There's a reason why my dog comes to me on a daily basis and wants my love, wants my affection. She wants me to pet her. She wants me to affirm my love for her. She doesn't want me to be, she doesn't react. This primitive creature, this simple-minded animal, doesn't want me to come in front of her and start being mean and start having an attitude. Her expression will collapse. She will go under the bed. She doesn't want any of that. Nobody taught her about good and bad. Nobody preached to her how beneficial it was to be a good person. She is just wired like every other sentient creature. I guess I shouldn't go that far to say every other sentient creature, but like so many damn mammals. Obviously, there's something about positivity that helps grant life within us, that gives us that reward. It's highly rewarding. Whether you like it or not, it'd be different if we were wired to respond, if we felt life from someone being subversive, from being violent towards us and hostile. If that made me feel like, ooh, life is in me. Yeah, keep being an asshole. Oh, I love it. If that's how we were wired, that's how we would be wired. And we'd have to deal with that. Clearly that's not how we're wired. And yet we combat our wiring in the stupidest of ways. In the most unhealthy of ways. In the most self-destructive of ways. We're not trying to fight our bad, we're trying to fight our good. I'll tell you what, it's largely due to this world. It comes back to, this is an oversimplification of the problem. What it largely is due to is people, due to life, punching them and beating them. It's a can't beat them, join them kind of thing. It's like zombies being infected. You've been belittled. You've been demeaned. You got to pass it on. Coward. You see, everybody gets off on. I don't understand how people are so obsessed over pictures. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not mad at posting pictures. I'm not mad at you if you post a selfie of yourself looking handsome, looking beautiful. I'm not judging that. I'm not mad at that. But damn, what the fuck is this shit where someone in your heart and your soul and your mind is on this pedestal simply because they look good in a picture? That shit is absurd, man. It doesn't make sense. It's the sugar, man. You're just eating junk. It's the equivalent of just drinking soda and eating shit all day. Eating Snickers and candy. And it's just a sweet. It's just a sweet. Yes, we are wired to respond to a certain kind of aesthetic cuteness, an aesthetic beauty. It appeals to our brain. Our brain says, ooh, I like that. Great. But our brain says, ooh, I like that to a lot of shit. One cool aspect of being a human is we get to deliberate, rationalize, and reason as to whether or not something is beneficial to us in a profound way or in a shallow way or in a very much so sort of mundane way. Y'all swear the shallow, superficial shit is so profound. We got one life on this bitch, man. Don't you want to feel connected to your fellow man? I get it. But then you want that and people slap you in the face. They spit in your face. It feels like it is a trek not worth journeying because all you're met with is resistance and bitterness and people that have been hurt and hurt people. 100% hurt people. 100%. I give you that. Hurt people. And so many people are hurt. So many people are living in their own little internal hells, boy, their own little individual singular hells. And we get close to these flames, and the motherfuckers they don't care that the flames are burning you. In fact, they are delighted by it. Misery loves company. Another little old chestnut. So fucking true. It's hard. I'll give you that. It's hard. Which is why Modest Mouse is one of my favorite fucking rock bands of all time. They got that one lyric in that song that brought tears to my eyes, Baby Blue Sedan. It's hard to be a human being. It's harder as anything else. And I'm lonesome when you're around, but I'm never lonesome when I'm by myself. Damn, that shit's true. Y'all know that Robin Williams quote where he spoke about there ain't nothing worse than being around people and feeling alone. Fucking right, that's true. I don't think that just by merit of you being a human means you're on this other level comparative to animals. What brings us to the next level as humans is trying to get to the next level. How about that? Did you ever think that perhaps the next level is not simply handed to you in your DNA as a human? And it's that it's not intrinsic within you just by merit of you being a human because you look good? Because you make money? Maybe there's effort that needs to go into getting to the next level. Maybe there's a consistent, continuous determination to get to that level and then stay on that fucking level. Or maybe I'm just greedy. Spiritually greedy. Sounds quite oxymoronic. However, I am spiritually greedy. I am psychologically, internally, immaterially greedy. I fucking can't get enough of the energy, that fucking nourishing energy that comes from the wholeheartedness, the honesty, the transparency, the connectedness. Golly, that shit makes me feel high. And maybe it doesn't make you feel high. Just like I wish beer was compatible with me. Everybody drinks beer. Beer's so accessible. It looks like they're having a fucking blast drinking beer. Beer doesn't do it for me. Beer just does not fucking do it for me at all. In fact, it makes me feel off, and I hate the volume you have to drink to even feel something. Give me a shot of fucking Hennessy on some stereotypical black shit, and I'll be cool. And so just like how beer's not compatible with me, maybe all the shit that I'm preaching is not compatible with you. Maybe I need to shut the fuck up. Or that's what I would like to believe. But then when I talk to y'all in person, when I talk to y'all and we have our one-on-ones and we get to know each other and I get to know your life, and then I ask you questions, you ask me questions, and then when we put our hearts on the table and our souls communicatively intertwine, there's always the clear outcome to me that everything that I'm saying is needed. It's needed. You hunger for it. We do want the authenticity, the vulnerability, the wholeheartedness, the transparency, the emotional nakedness, the thoughtfulness, the mindfulness. We want it. But you don't know until it's right in front of you. Until you're actually in the thick of it, conversationally. But it takes being receptive. It takes being receptive, but we're not. We're what? Fucking ADD'd out in this bitch. And I have ADD like a motherfucker. But I try to do everything I can to combat that. I feel like one of those things that is crippling us conversationally, and just that's obstructing our elevation of our humanity, is the deficiency in our attention. And there are things you can do. Like, I very much so deal with boredom on purpose. I place myself in boredom's womb on purpose, because I truly do believe that you have to weather the storm of boredom to gain the attention and the patience and the stability that you need. You need to lower what I call the standard of stimulation. It's not natural or organic or something that we're necessarily fated to have, this deficiency of attention. You can regain a more long and you can regain an attention that has way more integrity, way more potency, way more patience, if you abstain from a lot of the technological activities. YouTube pulls me in like fucking quicksand, like a black hole. I just want to go on YouTube so fucking bad. I want to watch shows so bad. I purposely don't allow myself, because I know that it fucks with my focus, my attention, my ability to think. And it feels insufferable sometimes. It's crazy how powerful those forms of entertainment are. It's absurd, in fact. They're highly invasive, highly obstructive. And when you remove them and develop the habit of not, as soon as you wake up, getting on your phone, or developing the habit of sitting in silence and all these other things, a greater clarity comes, a greater attention comes, a greater receptivity comes, and then you could do things such as listening to your body. Look, let me tell you something about the fucking body. Man, I don't give a fuck how many people you got in your life that you think are great, or whatever the fuck, or people that you seek and that you think will bring you happiness, or the pursuits you think will bring you happiness. Nobody's living in your fucking body though, man. Nobody's living in my body. People project onto me all these presumptions about why I do the things I do and why I've chosen the routes that I've chosen. They ain't underneath my fucking skin. Nor do I think they could last underneath my skin. I ain't trying to have a pissing contest here, but there is just utter chaos in this motherfucker. And so I have to do some very strict things in order not to become a drug addict, because I'm capable of becoming a drug addict. In order to not to be an asshole, because I'm capable of being an asshole. In order not to be one of these motherfuckers around here who's a snake oil salesman, who doesn't give a fuck about your well-being, who doesn't care about stepping on your head to gain an advantage. I could easily be that. Easily be that kind of person. I digress, though. This was meant to be an honest yoga, and as you can see, it turned into something else. Alright, my rant's over. This was going to be honest yoga, but it is an honest talking. So, namaste. Namaste, bitches. Peace out, y'all.